Good morning, everyone. Sorry I can't be with you in person this morning, but I hope you are warm and well and all is good with you. This morning we're continuing our series looking at spiritual gifts, and our reading has followed on straight away from the reading we had last week that I preached on. And Paul is continuing to focus on the Corinthian church, their divisions, but also spiritual gifts and what unites them. But I'm going to start somewhere else. I'm going to start with a slight confession in that not many people know this about me, but I have some very weird feet. It's something I was born with, and don't know why. I've had them looked at by the doctors, and the doctors are very puzzled. I've got some very strange toes, and my toes do not go in the right directions. And if you ever see me in person, maybe next week, ask me, and I'll show you. Very weird, very strange. But I do have one benefit. And the benefit of my feet is that I can often walk around places, especially in the dark, and I don't stub my toe because my toes are not in the right place to be stubbed. And that's where I want to start, because Paul, in his letter to the Corinthians, as we've just read, talks about the church being like a body. Now, my body has weird toes, but have you ever thought about what happens when you stub your toe? Because stubbing your toe is really unpleasant, really hurts. But it's not something that only involves the toe. Because if you stub your toe, the first thing you do is you shout about it, don't you? You raise your foot, you grab it with your hands, you hop around, and you probably make a right din. Well, how much of the body has just got involved with that? Let's start with the foot itself. Instantly you raise it up, don't you? Which means the other foot is suddenly taking a load, and actually the other leg is having to hop. I'm no good at hopping, I quite often fall over, but suddenly things have changed, all because of one toe getting stubbed. The hands that are on the ends of the arms reach down and they will quite likely grab that toe because it hurts. That poor toe is in distress, so the hands get involved and wrap round it and comfort it. The mouth. You probably shout, ow, at least, possibly something else. The mouth is making a noise so that anybody else around is suddenly aware that a toe has been stubbed. The eyes will look at the toe. What's the damage? What's happened? Attention is given to that toe. How is the toe? Has it fallen off like it probably feels like? Because it really hurts. Last that I've got on my list here, the heart. Your heart will race. Your blood pressure will go up. Suddenly things get a lot more active. The whole body is involved. And that's my point here. Because if something gets hurt, actually it doesn't have to be a toe. You can whack a finger with a hammer. I've done that one. That hurts as well. The whole body gets involved, doesn't it? As soon as one part of the body is in distress, the whole body does and reacts. And a lot of it is actually by instinct. And that's Paul's image, because Paul is straight away here saying that the church, which is us, we are like a body. We are one body, living and united in God. And we all get involved when a part of us is hurt. A part of us is in distress. And Paul's imagery in the reading isn't about stubbing a toe. He actually talks about chopping a bit of the body off, chopping a hand off or chopping a foot off. But similar imagery, because he's trying to say that without each other, without various parts of the body, there's going to be a problem. The body is united. The body is one thing, and we all need all of us. Paul says it's ridiculous for the one part of the body to say to another, go away, I don't need you, because the body doesn't work unless it is as a whole. Now, sadly, we know there are people out there, don't there, who have unfortunately lost parts of their bodies, and I'm not saying there's anything negative about that, but their lives are a lot harder, aren't they? And Paul's image is just an image, and it's trying to get us to understand how we should function as a church, because we need each other. We are united as a body. We need all of us together to function properly. We are united, but actually we are also different. We are united in the body, but we are different parts of that body. We've all got different roles and functions. So what is it that unites us? Because if we are a body together, what is it that holds us together? Well, I was thinking about this, and I was reminded of the fact that the church, or the Church of England, something it holds on to is the fact that it's one church. We are one united church. In fact, it's bigger than that because we are part of the Anglican Communion, which means that any Anglican church around the world is united. And there are things to show that. We have the lectionary, which is what gives us our readings Sunday by Sunday. We don't always follow the lectionary at St Luke's and St Paul's, but as we are at the moment, when we follow the lectionary, it means if you were to leave St Luke's and St Paul's and go on holiday and find another Anglican church, it's quite likely that they will be preaching on the same topic and sermon as we are. It unites us, it holds us together. Our creeds and our collects are the same. Our liturgy is the same. We are one church. There are outward symbols there of what actually spiritually we're trying to say. We are united as a church. But actually, I think it's more important than that, because we aren't just united through our ideologies and our liturgies and how we do stuff and what readings we look at as a church. We are actually united because we all worship one God. That's what the church is trying to say, is that we are united in our purpose and our focus. And that's God. God up in heaven is what holds us together. That is our unity. He is one God and he is our single focus. That's why we are united. But that's not the end of the story, because we are different. Life would be very boring if we were all clones. If the church was filled with 30 or 40 of me, it would be a very, very boring place. But it isn't. We are all different. I find it amazing that every single human who has ever lived has a unique fingerprint. It's very useful. My computer that I'm recording this on doesn't work unless it sees my fingerprint. And it will only be my fingerprint. It knows me purely by my fingerprint here. We are all different. Every single one of us. Even twins. I told this to the kids earlier. Even twins who are identical, even down to their genetics, their fingerprints are unique. Which is why it's very useful for the police. But the point being that we are all different. Even those of us with identical genetics. We are different. And God makes us different. God designs and builds and creates, and he has a plan for all of us, and we are all different in that. And it's for our own good. Because variety, as they say, is the spice of life, but variety amongst us is for our good, because we are one body united, but we all are different parts, and we all have different functions and purposes. But I think possibly it's our differences and what separates us as possibly being the source of most of our conflicts, not just in the church but in the world. Because the danger is when we see our differences, we get into the bad place of thinking one difference is better than another. And it's not true. Just because we are different doesn't mean that one person or attribute or feature or ability makes us better than someone else. And unfortunately, that's where conflict comes from. And I think that's why Paul is talking about this to the Corinthians, because he's trying to tell them, yes, you are different. Yes, you have different understandings and perspectives. Yes, you've got a different approach, but you are not better than each other. You are united together as one body with one purpose. So we are united as a church, but we are different, and we are varied, and we are wonderfully and beautifully made. And Paul's point in all of this, which is where I started, is that if we are different and one part of that body suffers, then we all suffer. Just like if you stub your toe or bang your finger with a hammer or do anything like that. If one part of us hurts, the whole body should hurt and get involved and respond. Which brings us to the gifts again. We are all different, and God gives us our differing gifts. And as I said last week, those gifts God gives out according to his will. And there are many, many gifts, not just the ones that are listed here in chapter 12. In fact, Paul's list is a second list he's got here. And this is where he lists my favourite, administration. I just love that that one is included. And there are more out there than probably what Paul lists in the Bible. But we are gifted differently, aren't we? We've all got those abilities and skills and things to offer the body. Depending on our part, our purpose, and what we do, we've got something different to offer. So, to bring this together, what I would like to just think about at the end here is to say that whatever your gifting is, whatever your part of the body is, your function, embrace it. Use it, because it is a blessing to you, but it's a blessing to the church. Make the most of that gifting, because it's for all of us. And I said this last week, and I say this again. If you're not sure what your gifting is, the best way to find out is to test and try it. Give it a go. Because if you don't, then you're missing out and the church is missing out. You've got something to offer. It would be like having a joint in your body that refuses to bend. Imagine living your life with an elbow just stuck at one angle. That would be difficult. If we don't embrace our giftings, the whole church, the whole body suffers. Just like if you can't bend your elbow, the hand can't do what the hand needs to do. Whatever your gifting is, try it, find it out, and use it, because it's a blessing for all of us. So enjoy the rest of the service and be blessed today. And I pray that God blesses us all. Amen.